Who's out here?
Me.
Oh, you can't help me. Well, you'd have to climb underneath there and give me a hand if you wanted to help me.
No.
I just need a measurement taken. Welcome back to 10 Foot Customs, and today it is Christmas Day, and I hope everybody had a most wonderful Christmas. We have food prepping in the kitchen for dinner. While that was in the oven, I thought I would come outside and mess around with Ruby's exhaust. One of the things I didn't mention in the previous one, Ruby does not have any kind of exhaust other than the header, so she's going to need something. So I picked up a couple of things, and so this is what we got. So Ruby came with this piece of flex pipe with just a header flange, and then the header has the mating pieces. I'm hoping that's one thing I'm going to check today to see if I need to get a different mating adapter flange for the header. Well, not header, it's just the manifold, honestly. It's a stock manifold. It's just been redone with new bolts in it. I have picked up a 10-foot section of 2-inch just regular steel exhaust tubing that I'm going to cut and bend and do myself, and that way it'll have a nice custom exhaust system. And then also off Amazon, I picked up a Thrush Turbo muffler, 2-inch as well, 2-inch in, 2-inch out. The manifold flange piece, I do believe, is 1 3/4, so I'm gonna have to cut and maybe crimp it in just a little bit to make it fit that. There's not a lot of good aftermarket mufflers in 1 3/4. Stepping it up to 2-inch was my best bet. But let's climb underneath here and see if this little flange piece works. Actually, I'm going to probably cut off everything that I don't need on the flex pipe to make it a little bit easier to work with and see if that will mount up. So that's what we're doing now. Okay, there's what we are working with. It's got new bolts, or new nuts on it, new studs put into it. Let's get that down. I got new engine mounts on it, that's kind of nice. A bit of an oil leak back here. Torque converter looks kind of old, but the trans pan leaking pretty bad. It's the first time I've been underneath her and actually look at. Oh, hey, look at this! My shifter linkage. Didn't even know I had that. Lines are leaking over here. I'm not sure what that is. Fuel line, maybe? No, I have no idea what that is. These are the all new brake lines run. Brand new fuel line run on this side. And this frame is either very well hidden, a lot of garbage, or it's in pretty good shape, which is still kind of surprising to me. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Let's get this other nut down. Steering boot up front looks ripped. Oil pan's not leaking too bad, just a little bit. Not sure what this line is up on top. Trans cooler? That might be a trans cooler line. Okay, that one's off. I probably shouldn't have cut off that second drop. But I don't like where that's running at all. But I've got a shifter linkage here that I can't. That is supposed to run. Okay, so this piece is supposed to run down and then goes through the skid plate that way between the frame rail and the trans. But let's zip tie those wires out of the way. The thing in the way is this. I was going to try to run it up through here, but the shift linkage is right there. This is going to have to run. So I'm going to have to make sure all of these cables, this is speedo cable, tack cable, maybe. Oh, the new e-brake. This is a brand new e-brake cable, which would be awesome. Oh, it is. That's a brand new e-brake. That's kind of expensive, actually. So I'm going to have to do a double or a nice diagonal down or something from there and bring that pipe this way to about here, because this will go up and out of the way, and then kick it down and maybe put the muffler right behind the skid plate. Is going to probably be the plan. And have the tube. It's going to look ugly. Well, he didn't do a great job there, but whatever. Yeah, so it's going to run the tube down. We'll bring it back through here. Put a hanger right behind the skid plate. And that should work. But if I were to cut this thing more on the 45 angle, I'd have the double 90 didn't make sense. It's like a 90, the 90, the 90. I'll just drop it at 45 or something close to that and get it through here and get it down to about here. If I can get it down here, away from where the torque converter inspection plate goes, which I don't have that. Find one of those, then we should be good. I now have a section of 15-inch pipe welded to this, which is about a 45-ish. It should get me down next to the frame rail so that I can run through the skid. So, tacked it on 3 spots, and tomorrow I'll see if I can get another piece of 45 2-inch to make the bend to go straight back. If I can, great. If can't, I'll just cut my own. But we have started. That will be it for tonight, because it's getting dark and I'm not gonna be able to see anything, so we'll see you tomorrow. Well, welcome back. It is day 2 on working on Ruby's exhaust. Last night we welded up this little piece, just tacked it around. Hopefully it's a good 45 down from the engine. And this morning I picked up this 45 here, and between the two, hopefully we'll get ourselves a pretty straight shot through the skid plate. We'll see how this lines up. I may have to trim this piece back a little bit more depending on this bend, but that's not a problem. So we're going to climb underneath and see where our length is. Once we have it going straight, we'll cut another section of straight tubing to get us to the other side of the skid plate, and then figure out where our muffler is going, and then all that can be all set up. It is chilly today. It's 39 degrees I think right now. It's a little cold. I was going to pull Rusty out and put Ruby in, but Rusty's kind of buried. So daylight's fading, so I'm just going to do as much as I can on Ruby out here. We use this area here to cut and weld, and we'll see how far we get. Ah. Just like that. Cord. We ended up taking on, ended up going more like 4 inches off of this downpipe to get to a height that was good. It's actually like almost frame rail height now. And then I marked the frame where this pipe ended. I lost the tape measure. Before I did that, because with how angles work, I knew that it was going to get way shorter this way. So I know I was about 26 inches before. Now I can measure from here, and we'll add about 3. So if I cut my next piece of tubing at 29 inches, it should put me right above the skid here, and then I can see the muffler slips on and works. And that's what we'll do now. Well, we got something. We have to kick this pipe just slightly this way, and my muffler pipe is now inside, lined up like that. We have to put a little bit of a kink in it right there. So I have to weld the one side and make sure it's the lineup I want, and then we'll weld the other side up. And you know, it's not ideal, it's not going to be super pretty, but it'll work. So let me mark roughly where I got to go. My hand underneath it. So kind of like that. Got plenty of room right there, not to hit anything. Go right there. Make that tight. Through here. And we have about an 1/8 inch gap on this side. Okay, we'll try that. Helps have my helmet on welding, not grind. Just check the fit of this pipe. Everything lines up, so we're going to go through here, finish weld this, and this, do all 3 of those, and that little section will be up to the muffler, which I'm going to try to decide whether or not I can weld the muffler to this, or if I should just clamp the muffler. I'd rather weld it, but I don't know if I have enough room once welded to snake this piece up and around. I might. We'll see. Not a perfect weld, but it'll do. We're at a point here where we have to figure out the muffler here. So I can't go too high because I hit the bracket up here, and then I got the skid plate. So I'm gonna put a small piece of wood underneath here on top of the skid. It should give me enough distance to get this thing almost square. Actually, I'm probably looking here for higher. Like that, maybe. I can probably go there. gives me, I can get a hand on the top side of it, and keeps me well above the skid plate. And I can slide this over there a little bit. Let's see how, I gotta see how I'm hitting. There's a bracket on the other side. I gotta make sure I don't hit. Oh, plenty of room. Plenty of room. That way a little bit. Like that. Okay. So that still gives me a finger's width on top of this bracket, which I'm probably gonna end up mounting the muffler to that bracket somehow. I'll figure out a way to bring a plate off of it to hang the muffler from. And then we're gonna probably just try to shoot out. You know, it's gonna kind of look, it's gonna kind of look stock when it's done. We got this set up here. I'll mark what the rotation is gonna be on it, so that I can then weld the rotation to be correct. And then I kind of measured to see if I could fish it through. And I should be able to fish the entire pipe from this side up, and then this will be where I can put a clamp on it and clamp the rest of the pipe. It's a tight fit as long as we can clean the oil pan. Aha, we are in. As long as that fits there well, which it all does, we can finish weld that piece. That is going to be it for tonight. It is dark and my fingers are frozen, and I think dinner's going to be here shortly. We ordered some food out, so that'll be nice. Not sure what tomorrow's going to bring. It's supposed to rain. If it doesn't rain, we will build the bracket to hold the muffler up and do the tailpipe, figure out where the tailpipe's going. If it does rain, and we won't be doing that, so hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. This is the, I'm 90% sure the original bracket that had a hanger that came down to the muffler, and I'm just past where I want to put my clamp to hold it. So there's already 2 holes in here, one there and one there. And I'm just going to put my angle iron and I'll measure out to about here somewhere, so I know I'm out past here, and I'll put a bend on it. It's almost dead center. If I come to the end of that and come straight out, it should be fine. I'm not hitting anything. I can shift it a little bit, but yeah. So I'm just going to come out, make a measurement, and then make a measurement out to here. And that should do it, and then we just continue up and over, and we're going to exit out there. I think I'm just going to kick it up just a little bit, and we exit out somewhere by that frame rail over there. We're going to exit out. This is one of those times where, in my haste to build a product, I built it wrong. this has to be the other way. The angle has to go so that the L is up. Bracket is made. Again, this is not, I don't think this is going to be a permanent bracket. I'm assuming at some point I will be doing something different. Maybe not, who knows. It's just going to sit right up there. So we'll mark our 2 holes, drill them in this piece, put some bolts up there, and that's done. So I was saying these kind of little brackets spin. I just spun this one so that I can come up here and probably gonna be on the first hole. So we run it back to the direction. I get 2 bolts in it. We're looking to bend in this plate and kick it over here just a smidge. Welding inside there. Okay. Cut this off here. If anyone is ever curious why it takes this long to get anything done, because you know you miss a calculation. You miss a calculation by just a little bit, and then you end up with this overly engineered exhaust bracket. Now it's square tubed for no apparent reason other than the fact that I had to move my bracket to the inside of the L. Oh well. Paint it black and it'll be fine. Okay, paint black and then we will work on from there out, which hopefully will be pretty easy to go that way. That should be good enough. We don't hit anything. Once the manifold's tightened up, it'll be good. I would really like to weld this new piece in. I'm not a huge fan of putting clamps on here, but without a lift, if I don't have one disconnection point, there's no way I can get the exhaust out of here. So this is gonna be my disconnection point. It'll be fine, not a big deal having one spot, but yeah, disconnection point here, then the whole exhaust can slide out. Let's figure out, is that sharp edge? Let's figure out that now. So let's first assume that we have got to get ourselves out to somewhere out here before we can throw a 45 in. These springs are kind of whooped. We'll have to replace those at some point. But let's just say roughly there. That would mean actually go. There's a magnet, yes. This piece is just slide and slide. That's inside the tube. It goes going that way. We would need like a 28-inch piece to get us out there. So let's just go with that. We'll start with a 28-inch piece. We may have to put a small bend in it, possibly. We'll find out. Let's go with a 30-inch piece. You can always make it smaller. I ended up cutting it at 32 just because, again, you can always make it shorter. I can't make it longer. Okay, I'm gonna have to definitely put a bend in this thing. Like an upward angle. About there. I made 2 pie cuts to get this thing up and over. Okay, so off camera, so it took some time. Made a couple really ugly pie cuts out of this tubing to try to get it up and over the axle a little bit, and I'm roughly close to the same as the frame rail arch, and then the 45 will fit over there and kick me out that side of the Jeep. So this is the worst one. I got better as I went with my pie cuts. This one was kind of big. I should have made 2 out of this. Let's not discuss all the things that were wrong about how I just welded all that. Way too fast, too much heat, gaps were way too big. Let's install it. Okay, there we are. This is the amount of gap we have on the tire. If my tire comes back that far to hit things, I think we have other problems. That should be perfect. I'll just put a small extension to get her out the side here, you know, and it should look very similar to stock. The exhaust is pretty much done. Put a nice wedge cut on it so that it's almost in line with the body. This is not super pretty, but it is what it is at this point. Again, I don't think this is going to be the final exhaust for this one. Kind of did a quick add up on what this cost for a very basic exhaust system. The 10-foot length of pipe ran me $30. The muffler was $42 from Amazon, so now we're at $75, I'd say. The straps and the clamps and all that cost me another $30 total. I didn't even use everything I bought, so I can return some of it. So we're right about $100 or so for an exhaust, and that's actually not half bad. So Ruby, being 25 years old, or actually older, does not require emissions here in Ohio. So, you know, I can get away with just throwing my own exhaust on. You know, if you lived in another place that required it, you obviously couldn't do what I just did, but for $100, I think it's a really nice exhaust. We'll see how it sounds, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to clean up my mess out here, but I think that's going to be it for this episode. Ruby has an exhaust. It looks kind of stock-ish. I think next week is supposed to be kind of nice-ish. I don't know, good chance of possibly chance of rain. I mean, it's going to be upper 40s. But enough that we may be able to try to get a start into Ruby. I was hoping to try to get that done today, but this exhaust took me a little bit longer than I was expecting. But I'm happy to have the exhaust done. So if you like the Ruby episodes, there'll hopefully be another one coming out in a week or so. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you next time.